Here we are again, Art. It is the October 3rd,
How many
Friday.
Fridays is this?
How many what?
Fridays
How many Fridays? It's a lot. How many do you think it is?
coming up on 100.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think we're going to be hitting 2 years sometime in November.
Excellent.
So
What?
go back to your opening. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. All right. All right. Well, excellent. 2 years coming up. Bon anniversaire. That's a little bit of French lingo there. Let's see. It's the fall. Temperatures up here are going to be close to 90 outside Detroit
Yeah,
next
we're
couple
supposed to have
days.
85 on Saturday and 85 on Sunday, Indian summer.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, I don't
trying to
even know.
get
I have to look it up, but I think Indian summer is when it gets hot after the first frost.
oh, really?
I was told that. But again, that's off subject. Another rabbit hole for any of your LLMs to pursue and get over contented on.
Right. When are you off to Florida?
End of this month before Halloween, so a few weeks,
Nice.
couple weeks. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I have to start checking the weather down there, see what it's like. But anyway,
Oh, heck of
uh,
a lot better than here.
yeah, it's gonna be nice. It always is, hopefully. Yeah, it's nice. And what's going on in the copier world? I'm
So
getting kind of bummed out because it's not that much. But what do you see, Art?
there's not that much, but I've got an interesting story to tell you.
I love stories.
So was it last Friday? I was at a net new account
Oh, okay, cool.
for wide format, right? So I got the lead was generated through my blog site, Jersey Plotters. They contacted me, which is always much better when they contact you instead of you making 100 phone calls. So anyway,
Yep.
set the appointment, went out there. They got a Ricoh wide format, older machine. They're in a lease. They don't like the machine. I know why they don't like the machine, because that machine never operated properly, right? So, you know, as you know, in sales and when you're in MPS and copiers, you spend time doing discovery, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So discovery was first thing I did was ask him questions, right? How do you
Yeah.
use the machine? What do you use the machine for? Um, moving forward, what's your volume on the piece of equipment? Um, and so he was able to tell me, we do D size, we do E size, we do sometimes color. Most of it's black, but we don't have a tremendous volume. It's just that our existing machine is on lease, and the lease is up,
Mm.
and you know we don't want this machine anymore, and we don't think the service company is doing a good job as well. All right, so this is all the music I want to hear, right?
I know. Yeah.
So, so the band is playing. We're doing well. Um, so I asked. So the first thing I did was I went over. I go, "Do you mind if I take a meter read from your machine?" He goes, "No, go ahead." So the meter read gives me a total meter read, right? And I can take that and divide it by the years or months he's had the device, and
Mm.
at least get an average volume of the print for copies, copies or prints. Realistically, no one really copies anymore. People still print.
Right.
So I've got that right. And I took a picture with my phone. I was using my phone just to take pictures now. Better than writing notes, just take the pictures. And then I start asking him about the lease, right? I go, well, how far along are you in the lease? Because there's a lot of leases out there that have that evergreen clause in them,
That's right. Yep.
right?
Yep.
So he actually has everything in a folder, pulls it
Cool.
out, and he goes, well, here's everything I have, right? And I start take a picture of each one just so I have it, when I leave. So if I
Mm-hmm.
need to go back to something, I can go back to something. Uh, but we're going through it, right? So I'm going through the lease, and it's a lease, it's 60-month lease, and it's with a company that I know has a very bad evergreen clause. That
Oh
means
boy.
if you don't notify them 90 days 60 days prior to the end and not more than 120 days. They're only leaving you a 60-day window.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to renew the lease for 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at the lease, and yes, it was that bad evergreen clause from that bad dealer that's allowed to write leases like that. And I go in, and as it turns out, by the numbers, we're going, okay, it's not about when the lease was signed, it's more about the date that you took delivery.
Right,
Because
right.
delivery could be 2 or 3 weeks later, because I saw the
Usually
date
is.
on that. I
Yep.
saw the date on the lease. Of course, I knew what today's date was, and I go, damn, we're in trouble, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So even when he told me, he was able to tell me when the machine was delivered, they were 2 weeks past due into the evergreen clause. So I had to break the news to him that he had a 12-month, you're caught in this 12-month renewal. And
Yeah.
there's nothing the company's going to do. They're not going to let you go, especially if you want to move away from them.
Right.
If you want to move away from them, they're going to say, well, you owe us the 12 months and you got to pay us the 12 months. Then you can do whatever you want, right?
Yep.
So the client was kind of upset about that, right? Another guy came in and said, well, we're not going to do that. I'm trying to say, well, it's in the contract. The only way they're going to let you go is if you upgrade with them. Then they're going to make nicey,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to, oh, we'll forget your 12 months, just upgrade with us. And we're going to slam you on the price because you have no other option, right? Either
Yeah.
pay 12 months, get out of it, and pay the price we want you to pay with this gigantic margin in it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And, from the lease I looked at from 5 years ago for the machine they bought, there was a gigantic margin in that, right? So certain stuff you can tell right away. So I'm going through the lease, and it was unusual because of the wide format machine. It was a cost per page lease.
Okay.
So
Go on.
you could call it a cost per foot lease,
Yeah,
right?
linear foot. That's what I thought they usually did, but okay.
Well, years ago it was linear foot, linear
Okay.
feet. Gets me to my next point. So I'm looking at the lease, and he's got X amount of black included, X amount of color
Mm-hmm.
included
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in the monthly payment. It wasn't a lot, but the first thing I noticed is the cost. The cost was really low per square feet because everybody bills in per square feet now.
Okay. All
Like
right.
linear feet was old. Nobody uses linear feet anymore.
Okay.
And I'm going, and it was like color for like 5 cents. I mean, that means the color is like there's 3 square feet to every linear foot. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And black was like 3 cents a linear foot. I go, wow, this is cheap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I look at the lease again. I go, wait a minute. This lease is written as linear feet. When I went back to my phone, right? Got my phone, went back to the picture where I took the picture of the meter.
Mm-hmm.
Machine reads square feet.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Well, you know what that means, right?
Uh-uh. What?
Well, for any of the overages that they've been charged, they're getting billed 3 times as much.
Okay.
So 1 linear feet is 12 inches. If you're using a 36-inch roll of paper, it goes this way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there's 12, 12, 12, 3 square feet
Oh.
and 1 linear foot, right? So they're getting, for the overages, they were getting charged 3 times the amount that they should have been charged if the machine was metering in the linear feet. I told them, I go, listen, not for nothing, but you've got a case here. You know, you don't want to, you want to get out of that 12 months lease, that renewal, that evergreen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not an attorney, but you've got a breach of contract here. They said you were going to bill overages at linear feet, and they billed you at square feet.
Right.
Client texted me today. He says, wow, we checked our bills, like you said, and we paid 3 times as much for the overages. We spent $1,400 more than we should have. We were overcharged.
All right.
So you know what I did next, right?
Nope.
Some nice, he said to me in the text, he said, well, if they're going to hold this to the 12 months, we're going to bring up the point that, you're in breach of contract, or we're going to mention you charged us too much.
Right. Overcharging. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I said, okay, I want to be okay in the email, not saying, they're pieces of crap and, it's fraud and everything, which I personally believe it is fraud, but you've got to prove fraud. Fraud means you've got to prove the intent.
The intent, right.
Right.
It could be just a
Be a
mistake.
sloppy mistake, right? But a sloppy mistakes are breach of contract. So I went to my handy GPT.
Oh God.
And I typed in my prompt. I have a contract that's supposed to read wide format, it's supposed to read linear feet. It does read linear feet. However, I've been getting billed square feet for 5 years. Is this fraud? And it gave me up a bunch of different things saying, well, that's how I found out about intent. You have to prove intent. However, that, what am I calling sloppiness in not having the right, linear feet here and square feet here,
right,
definitely can be considered a breach of contract, which should be enough to get them out of there.
It should bring up something. There's all sorts of goofy shit going. I mean, yeah, that's right. And then,
so this was done during COVID.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
COVID, this time 5 years ago.
Right. Right.
But even this time 5 years ago, we're a Ricoh wide format dealer, and we were not billing for linear feet. We switched to square feet years ago.
Even before then. All right.
So, but the pricing they had on it was probably square foot that they put in a linear foot. So 2 things. Did the salesperson have an old contract? Did the salesperson actually, kind of like knew what he was doing and proposed it as linear feet with square feet pricing?
I'm going to say, well, but who captures that extra margin though? The dealership, not the sales guy. I'm guessing if it's like a regular service agreement.
Well, it's the dealership that catches it. I mean, it's the dealership that gets the extra margin.
Right.
But in a competitive atmosphere, it's the salesperson that wins the deal. Because the deal is written as linear feet for 5 cents, 5 cents a linear foot, when it should have been for color, probably 11 cents per square foot. Or it should have been 3 cents per square foot for black instead of it being 1.5.
Wow. So you could, if there were other contracts in the fields in the same manner.
If you found other contracts in the field in this manner,
that would indicate intent.
Yep. So it was it was a nice way. I just had that text from the client saying thank you probably about 10 minutes before we started the show.
Oh, cool.
However, they didn't say, okay, we're ready to move forward with you.
Right. They're not going to.
We got to clean this mess up first.
So $1,500. How much is their lease payment for the remaining 12 months?
$4,800. Doesn't matter. It's still breach of contract.
Yeah, I understand. So you could say, hey, listen, just, forget about it.
You can keep the
Just
1,200, just let us out of
let
the,
us out. Yeah,
yeah,
no harm, no foul.
yeah. And if you don't want to, then we'll give it to our attorney. And
Yeah,
we're not
yep,
gonna pay you.
yeah, yeah. That is so, it's hard to tell. But do you think there was a roll in this contract? Did they have a whole unit with a buyout associated with that they put into this lease?
I didn't see
Either
it. No,
either
no.
way, after 60 months, the cost of the device is already covered by the leasing company. And who gets those extra 12 payments? Does it go to the dealer or does it go to the leasing company?
In
It,
those cases,
it
it
goes
goes
to the
to
dealer.
the Yep,
So it's a rip off.
completely.
It is and that's 1 year of margin. In theory, I mean, well, in this case, absolutely, because the cost of service was covered then some, and then some. So
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and if they do overages, they're still gonna get billed for overages.
right.
I'm just surprised.
Wow. Of
Um, well, the client didn't catch it in 5 years.
course not.
The dealership, I mean, once you set that machine up and it's on a DCA, it's only gonna read what the machine tells it to read.
Right. Yeah. The whole mechanism, the whole program is running on auto at that point,
Correct.
right? And there's no one who's going to audit that in theory. And even if they,
Well, in
obviously,
theory, if a dealership is doing
hmm
QBRs, that would have been caught within the first year.
yeah, yeah, the
My
first
parent
quarter,
paid
the
too
first
many
quarter
bills.
with the QBR. Is it a big company, Art, or how many guys they have on? How many engineers?
Not engineers, it's another company. I don't want to talk about, what type
Mm-hmm.
of, what the vertical is.
Mm-hmm.
But they're a decent sized company, probably. Well, they're a small business. They're probably 50 employees.
Okay. Yeah.
So they could have, that's the only thing I saw was wide format. I didn't get a big tour of the place, but I'm thinking there might be a couple other copy machines
Right.
hanging out as well. But it's interesting because I found out there was another vendor, they called it another vendor
Mm-hmm.
to look at their wide format. The
Right.
contract, remember I told you the contracts were right there?
Right. Right.
So
Right.
apparently they had them out for someone else. I didn't realize that. But the other vendor didn't catch it. He didn't, she
Well,
didn't catch
whomever.
the
Yeah.
fact they definitely had to have looked at the lease and have looked at the machine and just didn't put two and two together.
Right. Right. Well, I can see that happening. You know, especially if it's a copier dealership who's not used to, like, you're up to your eyeballs in wide format, right? You have been for almost a year, or at least a year, or
Well,
whatever,
more than that,
more than
probably
that.
30
So,
years.
well, yeah, okay, okay. So you're gonna catch that. Who knows what rep is out there selling wide format and A3 and A4. You know how that is. I mean, you're concentrating on one thing. Um,
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a little tough for new reps to just grasp wide format,
Oh yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, and there's no boy. That's a real another can of worms. Because like when you're new and you get pulled into a dealership, the dealership's going to train you initially on the core stuff. And if wide format isn't core to the dealership, quite honestly, there aren't that many. At least I remember there may be a good chunk of revenue from wide format, but it's not really core. So you're not going to get the high end training, the good training. And if you're a regular sales rep, you know this, you're going to go into A3 and A4 anyway, because that's where all your existing business is,
That's correct.
right? So you're just going to flip those. But what I like is what you said about the evergreen,
Yeah.
right? So if here's the key, one of the keys, if you're a new rep, know your leasing and know everyone else's leasing contracts, right?
Oh yeah,
So I mean, that kind of evergreen trickery, that shenanigans, that's what you need to point out when it gets to the point, right? When you're at that point, especially if you're losing the deal. Oh, well, I understand. Here, let's, whatever, review the lease with them to show them what to look out for, what the red line.
yeah,
We used to do that all the time. Is if we're not going to win the deal for whatever reason,
right.
hit them up. So listen, this is all right. And what we would have is a copy of every competitor's lease.
Oh, yeah.
that we could get and have it physically there in a binder, old school, but and then be able to read it upside down and just go through everything line by line. Escalations. Is it CPI? Is it whatever they want, whenever they want? How many? All that stuff that you want to get into. And that's funny. I was just talking to someone about this. The overages versus the minimums. Remember when the reps would say, "Okay, we know you're going to do 10,000 whatever a month, but we're going to give you whatever, a minimum of 1,000 and between 1,000 and 5,000 images a month, and we'll charge at a real cheap
So this
number."
way you don't go over.
But the overages, and you as a rep, they're going to go over if you bring that band down, and you go
Right.
real cheap in the band, and out of band is
But,
two or three times as much, so you
right, our
catch it up on that side.
our bands are a little bit different. The higher the bands, the lower the cost per page,
Makes
right?
sense. Yeah.
So we'll have the higher cost per page on the lower bands. But I always tell the clients, I don't want to see you overpay. It's like the old
Yep.
phone bills. If you don't use your minutes, you're paying for those minutes. And if you don't use the minutes, you lose them. So the benefit of going with a lower agreement, let's say 60,000 pages a year and you're doing 80,000 pages, if the next break point is 90,000, there's no sense paying for 90,000. Pay for the 60,000, right? And then pay the overage because you're only going to pay for what you use over the 60K.
Right. Right. So that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And gosh, did we do this? I think we had, I don't know where it was, but there were no overages, right? It didn't matter what your volume was. It's going to be whatever the hell it was,
Right.
001 or
Well,
whatever.
that's typical for MPS.
Yeah, that's right. That's where it's from MPS, which was fine. I mean, it's all math. At that point, it's all math. It's just the only variable is if you guess wrong, then you can certainly shield one way or the other on your volumes. And in an MPS situation, you should be able to get pretty darn close to actual usage, right? I mean, I was never off on anything,
Right.
even when you're reducing.
Or except when somebody blows up the contract and they've all of a sudden, I mean, I had a call with a dealer 2 days ago about where he's got 5 contracts that are overperforming and he's losing money on each account.
Yeah. Well,
right? Because he signed them up during COVID.
Yep.
It's
Low
now
volume.
5 years after COVID, 4 years, whenever he signed them up.
Mm-hmm.
And the volume that they weren't doing then isn't the volume that they're doing now.
Sure.
It's one of those contracts that include everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens.
Wow. So their volume now is higher than what they contracted for? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes there's a good reason for an escalator. That might be a good reason. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what I want to do, did I want to go back to this? Now, I don't think there's nothing else with this account, but something else. I don't know if we spoke about it last Friday, but there was I follow law.com, and it was a thing about copiers from law.com, and it was a Xerox dealer that was Xerox is actually charging them with fraud for falsifying leases.
Yeah. Oh, I know we talked about one of those issues. Was it leases?
That was last week. We actually spoke.
How in the heck are they? Well, go on.
Well, you want to know how it's done?
Yeah. How do you do that?
So it can be. So you're buddy with another dealer. Okay, you're
Oh, here we go. Yep.
You're XYZ dealer, right? And say, dude, I need some money, right? You got to help me out, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you write a lease to me for a $25,000 machine.
Mm-hmm.
You give the leasing company paperwork that it was delivered and installed. Mm-hmm. Leasing company pays you to $25K. I give you 5%, you give me the rest.
Yeah.
And I just make the payments. That's one way. And I just make the payments. So I don't get into, I never paid you, but I just needed a loan and I couldn't get the loan.
So I got the loan by faking a lease, and now I just pay off. Yeah.
Correct. So that could be one way. Other ways could be that they said they sold the machine to XYZ company. They falsified the lease. The client never got the machine, and they just kept all the money. So they falsified the DNA.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
They
Right.
maybe gave a different contact person or phone number. Oh, contact this person if you need the verbal DNA. And that was a shill already set up for them.
Yep. Yep.
So all the leasing had to, if they had to call, because a lot of leasing companies nowadays will call, and instead of what was the old way they did it? They didn't do DNAs a lot then.
For the DNA, yeah, you just signed, initialed, and sent it. I mean,
Right. So
that's
a
all
lot
we
of
ever
them
did.
We'll do a verbal now. So if
Right.
you step in between with the leasing company and say, oh, by the way, this person is not available
Your call there.
they're on vacation, but you can contact them with their cell phone at this number. Well, that's the shill. And the shill says, yes, I'm familiar. Everything's good. It's delivered. It's working okay. Then the dealer who's doing the fraud gets paid, right? The other company who supposedly got the equipment but never got the equipment then starts getting invoices from the leasing company. They don't know where it's coming from. And who knows? They may have paid it for a year or 2 years.
Well, yeah.
Brought on that, oh wow, what the hell is this bill for?
Yeah,
so
we don't have that.
We were going back about talking about C2PA.
Yeah.
Why C2PA is needed?
Go on. Yeah.
Well, if certification went with that invoice, right?
Yeah. What was it again? The YCP MOUSC thing is what again?
C2PA. That tells you where every document and who created basically.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it's like a blockchain thingy.
Yeah.
It's a
okay. Authenticity, right?
All right. Yeah. Okay. So well, go on.
Well, a feature like that should be available in copiers.
Oh yeah. That would.
So you have in copiers, you can say, I want to scan it as a regular PDF.
Right.
Or scan it as a PDFA. Right. That's an option. So to me, there should be an option that I could scan it as a C2PA PDF, and it will actually ask you to log in, right? This would be the sequence. You'd have to log into the copier. You'd have the date and time that you logged in, your name, and that would be the digital stamp
on that.
Maybe the machine and their serial number that the scan or the print was created on.
Yep. That's the way to do it. So no more DNAs, assuming your machine is scan capable. Or even that. So yeah, there's a way to do it. So I mean, I don't know how big of a how problem that fraud is. It could be huge. But instead of a DNA, what's a delivery acceptance? Delivery acceptance.
So you know what? Last year when we were at Twain Converge, there was a gentleman there. I think it was with iVault, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's going to be there again this year. You're going to be able to speak to him because we're both going to be there in a month, right?
Yep.
He has authenticity so that if you call him, right? He's got an authenticity program that actually verifies who you are.
Jeez.
That he is actually speaking to you on the phone, or he's communicating with you in such a manner.
Right.
And as Kevin said earlier today, right? This is something that's needed now in this digital environment.
Yeah. It was needed.
It is going to be even more needed. You told me this morning or yesterday about this fake guy in AI who did a what do you call it? a fake person and got all these views and all these endorsements.
Oh, yeah, the digital twin. Well, that's the digital actress, the digital influencer. Right.
Yes,
Right,
yeah.
right, right. Yeah.
And
And she was able to get, she's an influencer. Yeah. But
but
okay.
people didn't know, from what I understand, people didn't know she wasn't real.
I'm sure there were, I don't, didn't, yeah, that could be probably. They're trying to get her, and well, this quote actor has an agent because the agency created this persona, this very much like Celeste, or she, gave her personality, but then gave
Yeah,
her an image, and now with the new whatever that kid is, the new Google imaging thing, you can create videos, fake videos that look pretty darn real of anyone, right? So you can put your picture in, you could tell it what you want it to look like, the actor, and it is pretty good. It's really good, right? So you can create like our Celeste, right? I've created a Celeste, and she doesn't talk. I didn't go that far, but you could conceivably, and this is nothing new to be honest. This has been happening a little bit more expensive in the world, but you can create a digital twin that looks like you or like whoever you want it to be. And
right.
that's what they did with this one digital actress. They gave her a name of Tilly. I'm sure there's a reason. But voice, the way she moves, the way the lighting hits her, everything is spot on. Now, and as we're very fond of saying, this is the worst it'll ever be. It's only going to get better faster. This was not seen a year. Well, people would say you could be able to do it, but a year ago or even 2 years ago, the imaging was not this. You couldn't imagine it being this good.
Right.
So yeah, and it's cheap relative to a whole production, and even at commercials, right? Commercials, you could, you don't need to take a set or take a camera crew out or get actors and actresses and pay union dues and writers and scripting and lighting and blah, 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 blah. No, it's a prompt.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's a huge prompt,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's a prompt.
Crazy times.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So
So
a
yeah,
couple of other things in the copier industry before
yeah.
we
What is up?
move on. Xerox took a bunch of their direct accounts and actually sold them off to Loeffler.
Did not
Similar,
know that. Go on.
similar to what Ricoh did years ago and what Konica and Minolta recently did. So they're located in up in your neck of the woods, St. Louis
Loeffler.
Park, Minnesota. Yeah. As part of Xerox and Loeffler Company's channel market expansion initiative, Loeffler will take on full responsibility for servicing all existing Xerox direct customers, while also assuming sales coverage for SMB clients across Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota.
Wow.
And the rest is blah, 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 blah.
Hmm.
Pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, another move. To
Another
I didn't
move
real.
at costs.
Yeah, I never realized. I didn't really put it together that Xerox still had direct accounts, but I guess they would, of course.
Yeah, I guess in certain geo areas they still do, right?
Yeah, I mean, wow, big Z or a big X. I don't know what they're gonna do. I think their stock is still around $5.
Yeah, probably. So
Ugh.
here's an interesting um, press release. It says
All
here,
right.
Konica Minolta and First Citizens Bank forged new strategies agreement to deliver next generation financing. So what do you think that's about?
Whatever they want it to be. Next generation financing.
You know what it
Let's
was
see.
about? Absolutely nothing. The press release goes on to say the newly formed framework strengthens operational alignment and institutes enhanced program structures designed to support digital transformation. Through this mutual modernization, customers can expect to benefit the greater flexibility, streamlined processes, and simplified financing options tailored to evolving expectations and markets.
Good.
The rest of this was just freaking hogwash.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. So I went on to say in a comment, I go, there's nothing here. What is next gen financing now a secret? So my statement was next gen financing would mean that leasing companies will allow clients to pay with PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, or Apple Pay for me.
Bitcoin.
Or yeah, maybe even
I
Bitcoin.
mean, if you're gonna go
Absolutely.
say next gen, I mean,
Right.
wow, Art, nice catch. That's a $500,000 press release to come up with all those cool words that mean nothing.
Ah,
Mark,
absolutely nothing.
that's a marketing department's. All right, we got another year left here because we can make these
Or we
cool
just
words
want to
up.
get something out there, or
I don't know what the strategy would be. There's no,
I mean, wouldn't you put something in there? What with what is next gen financing going to look like? Maybe then I'd be interested in making a phone call.
yeah. So it is Mister. Is it Konica Minolta dealers? What
No, Konica Minolta is a partnership with Konica Minolta and Citizens Bank Leasing. So,
sounds like Citizens Bank got a good deal on copiers.
well, Citizens Bank Leasing bought out CIT. You're probably familiar with CIT.
Oh, okay. All right.
Either
So it's
they
a nice
bought them.
nice way of saying we bought someone out and now we're in charge.
No, that was a long time ago that happened.
Oh, all
Right.
right. Well,
So, like I said, the title reads Konica, Konica Minolta inspires. Oh no, I'm reading the wrong one now. Konica Minolta for Citizens Bank forged new strategic agreement to deliver next gen financing. Enough of that. I don't want to give them that much
yeah, yeah,
talk. They're not
yeah.
giving us. They're not giving us any money.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Art. This been what 4, 5, 6 weeks now. And maybe it's just because of AI and other stuff that I'm looking at, but it's really getting hard to look at the industry the same way I did just 6, 8 months ago. There are glimmers of light, glimmers of inspiration, or people that I think are looking over the horizon, not that far. But even when I dig into that, it's like just they're just not getting it. But and then you look over at some other stuff, like all the stuff that's going on in AI, and we're not talking stuff that goes on in these AI LLM things that aren't approachable, right? They're not it's not like NASA reading what NASA's going to Mars and all right, that's great. We're never going to be able to use that, whoever they are. These LLMs and these new AI things that come out almost every 3 or 4 weeks, everyone can use right then and there, and it'll impact. And you start hearing things like what you just read. It's like, what the hell was that? That's nothing.
Right?
There's a nothing burger there.
Why did you even
And
bother?
why even put melt toner on paper for something like that, or hit the QWERTY? That to me is like, wow, that's desperate times when you're grabbing onto things like that. In the meantime, there's guys like you still making a living and selling in the field. So there's still grassroots people still making, Joe's group down in Florida, the Ricoh Independents, right?
Yeah,
They're still going, and we can name off a dozen or 2 dozen dealerships that are still making it. And I don't mean that I'm not degrading this. Like, okay, they're doing it on their own, but you hear dumb stuff from Konica and then other stuff from Xerox. And, I looked at Xerox and their stock is at like $3, 375.
right.
I mean, that's no big surprise to anyone who's just been looking, but god dang. I mean, it was 10 years ago. Let's see what it was 10 years ago.
Um,
40 bucks.
15 years ago, it was 20, 25, 25
Yeah.
and change.
Yeah. Yeah. And when Ursula was, the times we're getting better. That wasn't it. Back then, HP was crazy, Xerox was crazy, things were falling through the roof, and our industry was still making. That's the great thing about this one. It's really strange to hear absolutely nothing going on, no talk about artificial intelligence or any new, like, you get announcements like that. You get announcements from these other Doc Man companies saying it's AI when it really isn't AI.
AI infused.
It's which is bullshit, which is not necessarily correct. Um, but still, there are guys out here still selling 4 copiers a month or whatever it is, right? And that's great to me. So once again, the industry is so wild. You got this in the basement. You got other guys like you and our buddies Phil at PDS. You know, still
You
selling
know,
copiers.
what the industry is experiencing right now
Yeah, what is it?
And it's heard from, it's a couple of dealers. Well, one dealer who knows of three other dealers that the summer has been very slow for them. I'll ask you a question because this is Ask Us Anything. Do you know why?
Do I know why this summer was really slow?
For a lot of dealers, I would say
Okay.
most of the dealers in our industry.
All right. Well, and then, I'm always going to qualify it as in, aren't all the summers slow? Is this a really slow summer? Is it a slow summer
This
compared to
is a really
COVID
slow
years?
summer compared to other summers.
Yeah, but pre-COVID, post-COVID, is it comparing against COVID?
Compared to last year, compared to pre-COVID. I mean,
All right. All
but
right.
yeah, before 2020.
Well, there's all sorts of reasons, but
Well, the main reason is it's the COVID effect.
well, yeah. I mean, which is the work from
In
home, which is
March,
the whole.
right? And it took some dealers a year to get going, but you had April, May, June, July, right? Even some other businesses, you couldn't get into offices at all. You had to do
No,
everything virtual. Companies were operating. I mean, they didn't even want to talk to you, or they couldn't talk to them.
it couldn't talk to you. How many leases went month to month? All of them that
Well,
were expired during that time.
Well, what a lot of leasing companies did is they extended those. They
Yeah.
extended them for 6 months. Some
Yeah.
extended for 9 months. So you took that 92% of our industry works on 60-month leases, right? So
Mhm.
you take an extension off of
Yeah.
March, and it's a 6-month extension of no payments, right?
Right. Right.
So if you expired sometime in 2025, you're not going to expire till 2026.
Well, 620.
You still got a current lease going, or right, your sales in 2020 were almost non-existent because we didn't place a lot of new machines.
Right.
So you'll
Right.
see, you'll see an you'll see an uptick next year.
Well, you could. Yeah. Based on that. Sure. Sure.
Right.
They're not renewing anything because nothing got sold 5 years ago.
So whereas in most years I'll sell maybe 10, 10, 20, 20. Let's say I sell 120 units a year.
Mm-hmm.
COVID was probably 50.
Okay. So 50
Right,
that year.
probably 50 or 60.
All right. And even if they were, so that'd be, if
Half.
they were all 60-month leases, it's this year.
Well, on a recent poll I had on my website, 92%
Yeah.
sell the 60-month lease.
Yeah. That's, well, okay. That could be a double whammy. I'm just thinking, right? So you didn't have the leases to renew because you wrote, not you, but because 50% down from 2020, there were no 60-month leases or very few.
Correct.
But so those are the easy ones, the renewals. So there's no renewals per se, but there's no net new.
Well, yeah, you can't. Yeah, it's very hard to find that news.
There's no net new.
Well, yeah, because it's not your existing base, it's your competitor's base, which was affected just like your existing base, which would be your net new base.
Shit.
Thus, the reason why a lot of dealerships have struggled during the summer.
Well, it's not going to get any better.
I don't know about that. A lot of the better dealers were able to get back on track. I mean, I'm looking at my next
Yeah.
year.
What do you think your net new was? Was
Well,
it that's just this year? So like, 60 months from now, what will your renewals look like? I guess is what I'm asking.
right. So I don't track how many net news. I just track right now. I'm tracking revenue, but I'm
Okay.
tracking revenue for net new, and I'm tracking revenue for existing. But
Yeah.
net new, I'm probably at 50% where I'd like to be.
Oh, okay.
But I just signed one yesterday for 22K. So, I've put a much broader effort into getting net new because I don't have the
Right.
bits to rely on the upgrades. I just don't have it. However, when I look at my next 12 months,
Mm-hmm.
that means um, potential net new and existing clients, right?
Right. Yeah, your existing your
I have
churns.
65 leases in the next 12 months.
Okay.
Upgrade,
So they
potential
were
upgrade.
written in 21.
20, 2020 to most 2021.
Okay. All right.
And that's so I did today I posted my blog for what happened in the industry 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And every day I was keeping a journal on selling during COVID. And we were at this time of year, we were up to the 100 and I think 48th day of selling during COVID.
Mm. Mm. Hmm. Wow.
So
Wow.
if you
Hmm.
if you don't believe COVID doesn't come back to bite you in the ass,
Oh, hell yeah. And it was the fear of COVID. It wasn't even COVID, but don't get me going. Don't
no,
get me
no,
going.
no, I completely understand,
Don't get me
right?
going. Well, I'm a little concerned that the net news, because that's your churn, and that's a bad word, but that's your renewals in 5 years, and you're looking at 60 plus that you wrote in 2020 and 2021.
No, no, that
Okay.
included that. So that's 60, that's 65 includes existing and where you've prospected and you found
Oh.
competitive leases that will be coming due. So I would say the bulk of that is 40, probably 40 machines are mine,
Okay. All
and
right.
20 are going to be potential net new.
All right. Well, that's over 50%. So, and then, you're just one guy, so I can't really predict, but and you're in a pretty good market though. You've got both commercial and SMB and enterprise, right? And
Yeah,
you
everything.
got everything. You got everything.
I
Okay.
mean, we're in New Jersey, megalopolis.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got high rise and right. So you're not as dense as New York City, but
No,
right.
no,
I'm asking the question, which is fine. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
you're
Because
not as dense as New York City,
so
but
nothing's going to be that dense.
New
But I would
York
admit,
City is
wow.
only what, 3 square miles?
Yeah.
So
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. And right now, more than I'm like really, I'm not going to dive into it any more than this, but it's like, that's the next 36 to 60 months are going to be very interesting, right? Because we will be flushed out of the COVID effect,
that's correct. Yep.
but the residuals of COVID are going to be, in my opinion, and it could be off, is the going back to office thing, the work from anywhere, and oh my gosh, and the consolidation in terms of head count.
I think
So I
head count, I think what's going to rear its ugly head in the next 6 months is companies are looking to cut budgets
ugh,
because it's the fear of what may or may not be true.
it's always that way. Yeah.
So the fear of recession is out there. Um, and some companies are going to hunker down and say, okay, if we can save a few bucks here or there, maybe we should. The real companies, the forward thinkers, they're going to be the ones that say, you know what, now it's time to invest.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know how this is going to impact the SMB. Yeah, and when I up to 500 employees, let's say, but the whole AI thing, and I don't even know where that's going to end. But you're hearing everything at the enterprise level, swaths of 10,000, 8,000, 6,000, 11,000 employees getting axed in a quarter of these big enterprises, and I don't believe 100% of what they say. Some of them say it's because of AI. Some of them say it's just because I'm sure it's a combination of economy. They hired too many to begin with. That
Right.
whole thing has happened. That there was a decade and a half of corporate value was equated or was justified by number of head counts, right? It didn't. You've seen them, like you had all the people that worked at Google and didn't do anything all day, and they would record. This is what I do at Google. I go in, get my latte, I sit at my computer, I go to the yoga room, all that crap, and then
Go to
I
my
go home.
safe room.
Yeah, I got a safe room. But look at the lunch, get sushi for lunch. It's like, damn, that is nice. And I think all of that's gone. But I don't know where it's going to wash out. This one's different than the big auto mechanics and manufacturing technology boom.
Early
That
adopters, creative people
Well, here's the deal
um,
that I'm hearing is the
are
creative
going to,
people and the early adapters are looking at their business, and literally when I needed 20 people to start this business, I only need 10 now because I can get it. And we know this, you and I, our productivity,
right.
we're doing stuff we couldn't do just
Yeah.
24 months ago.
But with all of that influx in technology, you could see AI could stimulate the growth of more businesses than you could ever have before.
That's what I hope. And I think that is a great belief. And but they're going to be smaller micro businesses. And I even think that's because and we're talking robotics, as production robotics starts to drop in terms of cost, right? Like the big CNC machines that were computer aided
Right.
CNC
Yeah.
machines, um, they won't be human aided anymore. You really won't need to do you won't need to have an operator there. And you hear people pushing, learn the trades, learn the trades, learn the trades. And I agree with that. But there are some trades that robots are really just going to take. I pulled parts off of these injection mold machines making laser discs back in the olden days. You needed a human to do that, but you really didn't. If you had a good enough robot, it could pull the parts 10 times faster than any human. You
Right.
can increase the whole thing.
Right.
Um, and that was putting a robot in place of a human as opposed to a machine that was designed to never to have a human in it. Then the whole thing is different. It's just like automotive industry, right? We talked about this before. Is the robots replaced the human at this point, and then the lines just became it's all automated. We don't need to even worry about having a human sit or stand here. The whole line, these cars can go in upside down and over them. It doesn't matter. So we don't design the line. The line is designed not to have any humans in it. Just so the human in the loop thing is gone. And again, it'll run, 3 shifts every day through Christmas, no turn, all that good stuff. But I don't see that's the problem. It's like they went to different occupations. There were other, there was labor that had to be done in
Yeah.
other verticals. With this AI thing, it's hitting every vertical, every horizontal. So, like, where are people going to go? No, I don't think anyone really knows the answer yet. Everyone's hoping that, well, it's a job that hasn't been created yet, which, that's viable. I get that.
That's
No
uh,
one,
that's
you
my
know,
belief.
I think so too. No one thought you'd have to go to work at a skyscraper when every family in the world had a farm and a horse and a cow,
Yep.
right? And that changed everything.
Yep.
So
New technology
I believe that.
creates things that you, like you just said before, you never think there could be a business doing that.
Yeah. And I think what you said earlier is that small micro businesses too will pop up everywhere. We're already seeing it.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
we're already seeing it. And here's the sad thing. It's not, I hate saying generations, but the kids that are growing up right now are in that mode. This is all whiz bang miracle magic stuff to us because we have the old school to compare it to. We remember a mouse and
Mhm.
old computers.
Or having to learn a computer, having to build it,
Having to learn it, yeah,
having
that
to
whole
learn
thing.
DOS, right? How about learning DOS? It was like, what the hell is this crap?
Yeah, yeah. And
HTML,
nowadays you got
HTML, right?
each the whole thing.
Right.
HTML, all that programming crap, that's
Uh,
gonna go away. It's already, the vibe, whatever the hell vibe coding
and
is.
that's why technology is going to fast forward, and it's going to create opportunities for people and business that people didn't believe was available
Right.
years ago. You could look at some of the futuristic models of science fiction from the 60s and the 70s that could come to fruition in the next 10 to 15 years. And that's going to create a whole staff of a whole new businesses that we weren't even aware of, plus all the people that need to support it, whether it's marketing or not marketing, whether it's parts that need to be done, whatever it may be.
It's incredible. Yeah.
The first thing I want is my I'm losing it.
You want your robot?
My machine on Star Trek.
Oh, you don't want your transporter. You want your
No, I want my.
Oh my God! Now you got me going blank. The replicator. You want the replicator?
I want my replicator. I can bypass Amazon.
Oh, absolutely! I believe that. That's it has. Oh, now you've got us going. Yeah, you won't wash the dishes. You'll make the dishes. Literally, the dishes that you put in a dishwasher and pots and pans. No, you just make them.
You don't have to wash them. You just put them in a automated recycle bin. They go to
That's what I'm saying. Matters matter. Tonight's dishes are tomorrow's tablecloth, are yesterday's iron pot, whatever. And I just was in on a show. They talk about artificial intelligence and the CRISPR. The CRISPR is the thing that manipulates DNA. So you can go in there and actually change the DNA strands. So if you attack that with artificial intelligence, you're going to come up with all sorts of new DNA strands, which translates into, we're not going to bring just back dinosaurs like Jurassic Park. You're going to create something totally different. Now that's a little bit freaky to me. And biological.
That could, that could be freaky.
But it's doable. So, oh man.
So anyway, talking about freaky. It is 5 o'clock.
Boom, that was fast.
The weekend hour, right? It did go today, right?
Yep. Well, hey, take us up, but talk about what we got real quick. Talk about what we got coming up.
Next week, next Friday, Celeste show. So any dealers, we're inviting you to tune in, ask us questions. The week after will be crickets on Friday. So the second Friday of the month is now crickets. Celeste. The third Friday of the month is now
crickets.
Bringing
robots to the channel to robots.
Yeah. And then the fourth Friday is what we do every day, office technology. And the first Friday of the month is what we do every day, talking about office technology. So I promise everybody, hopefully I'll get this done this weekend. We'll be up on Monday.
Excellent. All right, Art.
Everybody, thank you.
Thank you.
See you next Friday. Please like, follow, and share.